Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the feature-length agenda for August the 31st.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Hey, g'day there. Welcome along to the Agenda feature-length podcast. Myself, G Lane, Manaia Stewart, and dialing in from Vidland is Matt Heath. Matt, you okay? Thoughts and prayers?
Yeah, feeling great, thank you. How are you?
Good? Yeah, good.
I was going to say, you're looking good spirits, Heath. Is that, some sort of catering grade whipped cream dispenser in front of you?
Yeah.
I've just been making a lot of pastries.
Oh, okay. Is that like an antidote to the vid, is it? Just lots of whipped cream.
Just 1 second. Siri decided to jump in and join the conversation.
Is this like a throwback to lockdowns where everybody started baking at home? So you've decided... Yeah. You must be baking a lot. You've got a lot of canisters there.
I've got a focaccia on as well.
Oh, focaccia. Oh, yeah. How are you, though? How are you, though? You're okay? The vid hasn't taken...
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, it hasn't taken another man.
The vid hasn't taken me. I'm not going to the ground yet.
Because was it Tuesday where you came in and then you had to do a rat test and you were a poser? But how are you now?
Yeah, I'm a nigger now.
Excuse me?
I got off the... just got a negative test.
Oh, okay.
I had sore balls.
What?
I had sore balls. That was my only symptom. I came into work. I was on the Matt and Jerry show, and I go, "Geez, I got sore balls this morning, Jerry. I really sore balls." And he goes, "You know that sore balls is a COVID symptom in 30% of people." And I said, "Bullshit, sore balls." We've been punished with so much COVID chat over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I think I would have heard if sore balls was something you would look at. We'd have been Chippy would have said that to us, and Jacinda right through lockdown. Have you got sore balls? We'd have heard about it, right?
Yeah, and every dude would have checked.
So I looked it up online, and they said, "Yep, sore balls is a potential symptom." So just for shits and giggles, I took a test, and it came up with a pretty solid line. I was like, "Shit."
Well, because I remember when COVID first came out, and everyone was saying, "Well, you can actually test for it in fecal matter, so you can actually anal swabs might be a way of testing for it early," and that stuck in the minds and hearts of particularly blokes our ages. I feel like the balls thing would have definitely come up.
Yeah. Does that mean that when you next get the vaccine, it's going to be directly into your sack?
I hope so. How are your balls, guys?
My balls are fine.
My balls are fine. G Lane, though, your hamstring, not fine. We need to get onto this.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Look, there's not many people who don't know about it, to be honest. I got a lot of inquiries at the school drop-off this morning about my state of my hammy.
Yeah.
It's like when you go on holiday with your friends and an incident happens like this. I was skiing in Cadrona, going down the Willows, which is a non-groomed run down at Cadrona. All my friends are skiers on the only border. Not a great run for a border. Lots of moguls, lots of icy moguls. So I hit one at pace and I just heard my hamstring. I actually felt it physically just go pop, and I hit the dirt. To much amusement to all my friends who laughed and skied on, by the way. And I sat there, and then I had to call them, and they're in the bottom of the chairlift, and I was like, "I can't move." And they're like, "Ha ha!" I said, "No, I can't move. I can't put any pressure on it." They filmed me. They went up the chairlift and filmed me cast on the ground, and I could hear them laughing like hyenas, and then they got hold of the ski patrol, and ski patrol came, and then they all gathered around. All of them got their phones out. Yep. I had 3 phones around me as they put me into the banana boat because I physically couldn't put any pressure on it. Luckily, it was on a side of the mountain that wasn't overly popular. But what I've learned, and you guys know about the green whistle, eh?
Yep.
You know, it's the anesthetic that they give you this green little recorder and you breathe in and out and it basically sends you into La La Land.
Yeah.
So good.
I was desperate for that and I didn't need it because I wasn't in that much pain. But the 2 medics came and his name was Ben and Nat, and I said, "Oh, have you got any green whistles I could have a hoon on?" And they're like, and it was like, I think this is the standard what they do. He goes, "Oh, no, I haven't got any on me. Nat, have you got any on you?" No, I haven't got any on me. And I was like, "You bullshitters."
That was them talking to each other like, "Do we give this guy one? Nat, this is your call." And she's like, "No, he's done his hammy. We're not going to give him the green whistle."
And what I've learned is you don't get the green whistle if you ask for it, okay?
Oh,
So,
what?
Yeah, so you've got to be in so much pain that they go, hey, calm down, suck on this. So you
So
can't.
it's like a Fight Club situation.
Yeah, you can't talk about it, and
So-
I blew
So
it.
so you've basically got a compound fracture. You've got an eye socket hanging out with an eyeball coming down, and if you ask for the green whistle, they're like, no.
Well, I think you're in such a
you asked
state.
for it.
I think you're in such a state by then. And also, all of my friends go, green whistle, green whistle.
yeah.
They're all chanting
Everyone
it.
does.
I think they saw that as a... Anyway, lovely young Jackson got me on the banana boat. And if you don't know what a banana boat is, it's basically a stretcher behind a very competent mountain rescue skier who skis you to the bottom. It's very bumpy. But then I got put on a skidoo and skidooed back to the main base, not in a banana boat, so humiliating. And then, my ski holiday was over. But by that stage, my friend, well, I call him a friend, Stephen, had already sent the footage to Joe Jury. Joe Jury had posted it immediately. And, I'd like to think that there was lots of thoughts and prayers out there, but there wasn't a hell of a lot of thoughts and prayers. I mean, Matt and Jerry rang me on the Hodaki Breakfast show, and again, I got recollections of that chairlift where all the guys were laughing at me.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the extent of it. With that laugh there, every time I was like, a grade 2 tear of the hamstring tendon is no laughing matter.
Well, that's not a season ender, If you didn't get to play in the finals, we'd be upset. But what was the maneuver? Forgive me if you've explained this already, but what was it that actually did it? Can you remember?
Well, I was going to say I was doing a triple backside flaccid into a screaming seaman off the big air, but I wasn't.
Tough to do the flaccid into the screaming seam.
Yeah, I know, I wasn't. I was basically I hit a quite an icy mogul, and the back edge didn't grip, and it popped off and then gripped on the way down. So it was an awkward way to do it, and it just went bang. So I need to make up a better excuse. But then I was on crutches, and then my family's still skiing, so I have to go up the mountain like those humiliating people who just hang out in the cafe all day.
That's going to be me in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting steamed though. It's good.
Oh yeah.
But I think one of the reasons why it was so funny is because I heard simultaneously that it happened to you while I had the footage of the the information came through, and then the footage was right there. I was like, there's just a great look on your face. Just G Lane, who just rips everyone a new one.
We live in the
who we
future.
had to be nice to for so long because he had cancer. And we had to tiptoe around.
Here's one we can get up and about.
Sorry, you tiptoed around. Back it up, that you tiptoed around the cancer. I have not known anyone who's been given more shit. Shut up, cancer head. Shut up. Oi, tits. Get those tits off your head.
We called you Tits Lane out of respect.
So what's the prognosis now? I noticed you didn't bring the crutches in this morning.
I can't do the crutches anymore. It's too humiliating. I look like I got called Timmy so many times. Like people who knew the ACC, and I'd be in like Orho Lodge, my crutches, and from the car park, someone goes, Timmy! I was like, that's it, I'm out.
Out of love and respect.
I'm out.
It's been a great run for G Lane, you got to say it. The last 3 or 4 years.
So
It's been a solid run.
we've got the national finals of the Kiwi Pong.
I'll be right for that.
Kiwi Pong champs, You obviously can walk around.
Yeah.
What about going around Paris? Because the three of us and Joe Jury are heading over to Paris in 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Oh, look, I got told by the physio that it's a 5 to 6 week recovery, but that's like back to running.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be running from anyone.
Okay.
In a hurry, I'm not going to be sidestepping, but I'll be all right. I'll be all right for Paris.
But what I was going to get at is, could you potentially apply for like extra leg room in your seat, and would you need a carer for that 17-hour flight to Dubai? Yeah.
I see where you're going with this.
If I wheel you onto the plane in a wheelchair, then we get the old extra leg room.
We definitely get the wheelchair.
Yeah.
The wheelchair at an airport is one of the greats, one of the great life hacks, because you just get to the front of every queue.
Yeah.
You have to act up a little bit. You can't just get out and walk off.
But no one's ever going to ask you like what your malfunction is if you're sitting in a wheelchair, would they? No one would have the gumption to be like, and sir, what's actually specifically wrong with you, and make you say it,
Be careful with this, though. When I was in Las Vegas, once, me and Jeremy Wells decided to pretend I was wheelchair bound. And so he was pushing me around because we found a wheelchair. And then we got a security guard to wheel me up to my room for a joke. And then we paid him some money. And then we got him to come back and got someone to come up and wheel me back down to the pool and help me into the pool. And then that was all funny when we were staying, but the next day having to walk past those people.
Miraculous recovery.
Did I just see you doing bombs into the pool last night?
Yeah, so just be very careful. You don't fly too close to the sun with pretending to be a wheelchair person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into the agenda. Rugby. So, well, should we panic? Should we panic here? I mean, England lost to Fiji. We lost to South Africa. Australia got humped by France. I feel like the build-up games were just a bit like,
Meh.
yeah.
Yeah, I was saying this earlier this week. Like, it's if that's the biggest loss that the All Blacks have ever incurred, then so be it. Wasn't that big a loss? We do that to teams every week.
Also, yeah, I don't know. Matt,
Well, yeah, what I would say on
panic.
this, though, and I saw
panic.
some of the comments of Jeff Wilson and stuff, New Zealand has a really strange response to a loss. Like, everyone's just claiming the game needs to be changed and that it was a travesty. Someone's got too many forwards on the bench. Like that's ever been something anyone's brought up before, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just thinking, it's something you said, Manaia. The Crusaders play the game of rugby as it is.
Yeah.
And I think New Zealand is guilty in World Cups of playing the game of rugby as they wish it was, as we wish it was in New Zealand, when everyone was basically a loose forward and everyone was running around, passing it everywhere, and everything was really fun. But what's terrifying when you come to a World Cup is that England can do what they did to us last year and South Africa can do what they did to us, last World Cup. You can just turn up and play rugby like the stupid, shit, boring game that it is supposed to be played, which is exciting if you care about the result, and you can beat us. So it's great that it's a wake-up call, but, geez, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
South Africa are a long way ahead of us.
It's such a
in
good
that
point that you brought up that I made a while ago. And it's exactly that. It's that, like you say, when you watch the breakdown of all these shows and all these people coming out afterwards just being like, well, yeah, but we need to look at how the refs do this, do that. And they got all these aspirational ways of how they want the game to be played. And that's what I've always said about the Crusaders is it's hideous to watch. It's why the rest of the country absolutely hates them. But that's the rule set that we've brought in, and it's going to be disgusting. There's going to be a million scrum resets, but that's how, if you want to win, that's how you have to play. And to be honest, that's how South Africa have always played. And now that the rule set makes it a much more disgusting game to watch, they are excelling.
When you talk about like 7-1 split or whatever, seeing as backs don't get to do shit all anymore, it totally makes sense that the people that I think you should not be able to sub forwards at all, because rugby is more fun when the forwards get tired.
Yeah.
But if you are allowed to sub anyone, then it makes more sense in this current state of the game to sub your forwards than it does to sub your backs who have hardly got to do anything, especially your running backs.
It's ridiculous. 8 is so many substitutes. Like when you, and this is quite commonplace at the 60th minute for an international team to do a full platoon swap of the front row. Like that is ridiculous. It's now becoming like NFL where it's like a completely different team, offense, defense. You're like, okay, these guys, we can now have a guy out there who's 140 kilos playing at a professional level because he only has to play for half the game, and then you can bring on another dude who's 140. You get bloody 280 kilos worth of props over an 80-minute period.
And while we're talking about rugby, and I've just said that we shouldn't be trying to change the rules, but could we not road cone off injured forwards that are just clearly lying on their ass to try and catch their breath? Keep the game playing. Put 4 road cones in their wounder that's come out to help them.
A flare.
And just play on.
Just put a flare, light a flare,
Pop a flare.
light a flare, so there's this thing, you can avoid it. Because if you go near it, you're going to get burnt.
If you're within 10 meters of him, it's walking rugby. You're not allowed to run anymore. You've just got to slow right down. It's like the when they bring the flag out on the racing circuit.
Yeah.
They're like, slow down, slow down. Okay, and now go.
The first half of that game at Twickenham was 62 minutes long.
Oh my God, that. I'm glad I wasn't commentating it.
Oh mate,
Just road cone off a few people. Get rid of the. What am I doing? I'm trying to do what I just complained about, trying to change the rules of the game ahead of a tournament.
I think it kind of is panic stations for the All Blacks, though. I mean, particularly in the media, but also I don't really. They were saying, oh well, yeah, but the Warriors, the All Blacks have so much further to go. You know, they've got a lot more in the tank. South Africa can't play any better than they did on the weekend. I don't know how much more we've got in the tank. I feel like the only way out for us is razzle-dazzle, and in my experience, that has not been the direction Ian Foster wants to take this All Blacks team.
Yeah, look, I personally think it's a good thing we lost.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
we
same.
would have gone into this, because we would have gone in with full hard-ons after the rugby championship. And now we're going in with like a Tua Hemi. Like we're just going in a half mongrel.
Yeah, on the way down.
Yeah. So I think it's good, because now we're like, yeah, you know what? They'll probably lose to France in the first game, but if we win, sweet.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back again. Then we've got...
I think we need to lose to France in the first game.
To
Just to really get the point home that we're not good enough.
Yeah, and then get rid...
Just to get the dick really shrunk.
Yeah, it's not even a half mongrel anymore. It's just down to full cashew. Full cashew. So you want full cashew after round one, and then slowly build the half mongrel up to the quarters? Is that what you're...
Well, we've never lost a pool game in a Rugby World Cup, but we've lost plenty of Rugby World Cups.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Because, this week, Taniela Tupou, the Tongan Thor, he came out and he said that Eddie Jones was saying that they were basically foxing, that they didn't, try any of the tactics they're going to use at the World Cup. I don't believe it. But is there a chance that Ian Foster threw that game so that we would retain underdog status? Because he's wanted to talk about the All Blacks as underdogs this entire time. Has this been his master plan the whole way, to motivate the boys by retaining underdog status?
So you're saying he's corrupt? You're suggesting Fozzie's corrupt?
It needs to be an investigation.
Yeah, let's check the TAB, see how much kind of Ev Fozzle out of Hamilton put on the South Africans, because they were paying like $270.
Is that right?
Yeah, they
Double
were
your
paying.
money.
Well, I actually encouraged a friend to put money. I said, put money on South Africa. I reckon they're going to tip him, and he did. So yeah,
but what do you think about the English commentators that are saying what we're doing now is just jerking ourselves off at Super Rugby against the worst rugby playing nation in the world, Australia, and ourselves,
That's a good take.
and becoming smaller and smaller and more, woohoo, look at us.
Oh, this definitely
And
Stephen
when
Jones.
really the only way you win a game is pick and go in front of the sticks until you get a penalty.
Yeah, that
And so
sounds
you
about
need
right.
you need a whole lot of monsters to start, and then you need a full set of monsters, despicably ugly beasts, to come on in the second half to continue beating up other players. All your Super Rugby razzle dazzle, and it doesn't help you.
No.
When only the Crusaders are the team that are playing international rugby at this stage.
We've figured it out. I saw a post on social media this morning that was saying that the English rugby team's training had to be cancelled after reports of a white powder were found on the field. And upon investigation, they found out that white powder was the try line. They weren't familiar with it, so they were able to resume training. I mean, that's a pot shot that we fire from the Southern Hemisphere. But like you say, they win World Cups. They win. They're winning international. Oh, having said that, they just got pumped by Fiji. So fucking. But yeah, you're right. We need to play the game the way it is.
How good is it to see Fiji? Because I was hoping this would happen. Having the Fiji and Drua in Super Rugby will help grow the game, because they've always been a bit short on the forwards. They've always had razzle-dazzle backs.
Oh, yeah.
They have great sevens
Yeah.
teams. But that result I thought was awesome, because it was good to see that potentially having a team in the Super Rugby Pacific competition is paying off. So they're going to cause some damage in this
Yeah.
World Cup.
I-
I look forward to it.
Yeah, and I'd like to take credit for that as New Zealanders for bringing them into the competition. It is our competition, the Super Rugby, so anything we can do there to sort of claim that, I'd be more than happy to. It's the most parity I feel like we've had going into a World Cup. Or is that just because this is the worst the All Blacks have looked going into a World Cup?
I think in terms of results, this has been the most mixed up. People are confused. I'm confused.
Oh.
The results, all those games before the World Cup, have all been a bit like, what?
Yeah. 23-20 against the Wallabies.
Yeah.
Looked like we were going to lose for most of that game. It's I don't know. It's good. It's good in a way.
But the good news is we're covering all of the All Blacks games, the Rugby World Cup, every single one of them, live and free on Radio Hauraki and on iHeartRadio. Text Rugby to 3236 and you'll get the full schedule. The timings aren't too bad. They're between kind of 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning in the weekends. So you're either kind of on your way down or you're having kick-ons.
Yep.
Or you can just wake up sober and consume it as well. But
Before church.
That kicks off next week against France, the World Cup opener at the Stade de France.
Fiji, we're looking at Pool C for
yeah.
the World Cup. Wales, Australia, Fiji, Georgia, Portugal. Geez, Fiji will clap up Wales.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well,
obviously Georgia and Portugal. And they could upset Australia.
oh
Fiji
yeah.
might be in for a blinder.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They've definitely got nothing to lose.
No,
Absolutely nothing.
it's their year.
Yeah. That's right. The Waz. How crazy has Up the Wire's gone?
Oh, it's gone so crazy now that missionary, straight down the middle media outlets, your More FMs of the world, your News Talk ZBs of the world, they are now
ruining it.
Are ruining it. That's right. It's gotten so far that it's crossed over into the mainstream, and it's absolutely everywhere. We're getting videos sent in left, right, and centre. I will say a lot of the videos are of children's sports teams, and they're very father focused. It's a lot of dads leading the chart, so there's a fair bit of that going on. But it's become. I mean, it's out of control now, and I think I mentioned this on the Matt and Jerry show on Radio Hodaki last week, that when we look back on the season in like 5 years, whatever happens in the finals, we'll be like, fuck, remember when everyone was just yelling Up the Wires everywhere? It was like mental over 2023. And I think that constitutes our year, to be honest. I'm calling it. It is and has been our year, regardless of if we get bounced in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like our year is Aussies taking us seriously, making a genuine run, being an actually decent team and selling out Mount Smart Stadium. We've done all of that.
Yeah.
So I think it is our year.
But I think you're even right on. I think going forward, it'll remain because cities need to have that sports team that is their team. Like you go somewhere and like say if you're in Los Angeles, everyone knows Let's Go Dodgers, and the Dodgers are a huge part of the city, and we don't really have that team because for some reason no one gives a shit about the Blues, do they?
No. Well, it's because they
Really?
suck and haven't won a competition in over 20 years.
Yeah, but why are we loving the Wires right now?
That's a good point.
There's something about them that's a little bit more, I guess, inclusive. It's funnier. It's more open to gags. It's less.
It doesn't take itself so seriously, the Warriors.
Yeah, the crowd,
Yeah.
the banners at the crowd, it's taken
Yeah.
on an Indian cricket feel.
Yeah.
Like people are
Yeah.
taking A4 bits of paper with crayons and just writing mad shit.
I feel like there's a plant at the ground as well because every sign looks the same. It's like the same set of crayons as being, same font, same colours. I get that they're the Warriors colours, but I feel like there's a plant at the ground that's dishing
do you
out.
think this is a marketing ploy from the team? They're out the front handing out
Potentially.
hand-drawn
Yeah, I reckon
placards.
they
But
could-
but the organisation is open to the media.
Yeah.
I mean, on the Matt and Jerry show, we've got a Warrior that'll talk to us before practice.
Yeah.
On their way to practice, they're talking to us, and they're offering up interviews, and I know they've been doing that for a while. But there's just a feeling of more open, and also I think the One New Zealand Warriors is quite a good name as well. Changing the sponsorship name, even though it's the company, just sounds very inclusive.
Yeah.
One New Zealand Warriors. It's a perfect storm of them having a great season, and I think they could. I think, as the ACC has posted, or was it Radio Hodaki? But I think that the Warriors are currently our national team,
Yeah. I think
and the ABs are in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, it's going to be hard, isn't it? The World Cup starts next weekend, and
Yeah.
then that's when the finals start for
Yeah.
the Warriors. So it's going to be interesting because, they're playing all the way over in France, and we've got the Wires at home.
Yeah.
Well, away first and then home.
and then at like much more viewer friendly times
Yeah.
as well to watch. One of my favourite things that's happened this season, aside from the Aussies genuinely talking about the Wars as contenders, because they're now shitting on them and being like, well, if you want to contend for a title, you got to be better than you have been the last 4 weeks, which is like, when was the last time anyone's talked about the Warriors like that?
Yeah,
You know, like,
That's
like they're
And
not
what,
good
the last
enough.
4 weeks that we've won every game.
Yeah, it's gone from, well, shit, they're playing well for a terrible, terrible team to they're not playing good enough for a genuine top 4 contender. And then the biggest thing that we've done, because usually these last 4 weeks are when we all tune out as a nation from the Warriors because we're playing in the doldrums of the season, the games don't matter. Whereas the good teams are resting all of their players, and that's what we've done this week. We've rested 7 of our top flight players in a massive fuck you to Wayne Bennett and the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
We are playing dudes who are on training trial contracts. We got like some guy who was just mowing the lawns out there at Mount Smart Stadium last week. He's going to get a run. It's just so good to be one of these teams that can disrespect the competition and throw away around.
So they're guaranteed a third place, are they? Is that right?
No. If the Melbourne Storm win, then they could vault us because we'd then be tied. They would need to beat the Broncos, I believe, by quite a bit. Yeah. But I mean, top 4 is secured. That's as good as it gets anyway.
Right.
So the only
What about Tohu Harris though? He's not actually injured? That was all. He's got a slightly sore back. That was a bit of a national panic, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's got a bung back. Look, I don't know. I hope. I mean, look, if there was a player that it was going to happen to and he would play on anyway, it would be Tohu Harris. He's played like multiple games with torn ACLs and he's held together by tape. He is instrumental in what the Warriors do, but I think he might be okay. Plus, the other thing is all these 7 players that have been rested this week, out of pure disrespect, I just want to remind the listeners of that, they will tell you that they are all injured. And at this stage of the season, you could claim anyone's injured, really, because, you've just played 25 weeks of the National Rugby League. You're going to have a couple of nibbles.
You're all reasonably injured.
You're all reasonably injured. So I'm hoping that what that is it's just a little bit of that blown out. They were like, hey, if we can give Tohu an extra week to come right, then so
I think it's brilliant. I think if that's what they're doing, because I think Coach said that flying on a plane's a real shitter if you've got a sore back. So,
it is.
Yeah. So commentary 5 p.m. against the Dolphins on Saturday. Di Henwood and Keezy bringing you that commentary. That will be straight after the Kiwi Pong National, the Pro-Am, actually. So the Pro-Am will wrap up and then we'll go straight into the Warriors. And Manaia, you and myself have entered into the Pro-Am, which kicks off on, Saturday, 11 a.m. at Miss Lucy's.
Do we need a training? Do we need a captain's run tonight?
Yeah, we may do, actually, because we're entering as the Alternative Cup collectors.
Yeah.
It's a Pro-Am, so invite only this year, and the winner gets to go to Bali to play in a national champs there. We may have to actually do a little bit of practice.
A little captain's run this afternoon.
Anytime I have a player, it's on a massively steamed, so I'm going to have to maybe start early on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's someone that's commentated a number of beer pong championships and Kiwi pong championships. I don't really know the rules. Do you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've had to run administration for quite a few of these as well.
Right.
And
you've been the person I've been going to.
Yes,
what's this?
I've settled a lot of disputes, and just out of pure ease of running the competition, the rules are a bit more relaxed than your average barbecue rules. Elbows are fine. So if you've got a bloke on your team who's just got go gadget arms, that's just an advantage. You won't be called back for elbows. Other than that, it's
that's good.
Pretty,
that's achievable.
It's the blowing and the fingering. When the ball it circles the top of the cup and you can blow it out.
Yeah, guys finger, girls blow.
Yeah, I think that rule maybe has been
abolished.
Yeah, they had some issues with that.
It's 2023. I feel like it shouldn't be determined by gender.
Righto, let's get into a bit of cricket. Matt Heath, do we need to short the market again with some Black Cap supporters support group T-shirts? This is the first game. Should we wait for the second game?
Yeah, I think maybe wait for the second game. I think that it's early. It's early to freak out too much. And we did lose one game against the UAE.
But we did lose it. We lost this one in the 14th over. It's a T20. Yeah. And you lost it in the 14th over with the loss of 4 wickets. It's not often. That is a hiding. I know it's only by 4 overs, but that's not good. That's not good, Matt. That's not good, Matty.
No, that's not a good start, is it?
No.
But it's always a lottery. It's always a lottery T20, even though it's getting less of a lottery. It's still, you can just get it taken away from you.
I just feel like I've always thought that cricket doesn't travel well. When the Black Caps are playing here at home during summer, everyone's into it, and when a World Cup's on, everyone's into it. But this one, I think, flew under the radar for a lot of people. I think that there would have been a lot of people surprised when they checked their phones this morning to be like, the fucking Black Caps played this morning over in England? How much cricket are they trying to cram in before the World Cup starts? When does that start?
It starts at the end of November.
It's like midway through the Rugby World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, some crossover. Hey, but how's the Whakamana Express, Lockie Ferguson, starting to dress like Ben Stiller from Dodgeball with the kind of the sneakers, the headband and the sneakers.
Yeah.
He needs to come out, I reckon, at the top of his run and go, where they do the Vipers, the Viper walk on Dodgeball.
Sponsored by Globo Gym.
Hey, and also a big announcement, New Zealand Cricket. The new CEO, Scott Wienick, has been announced as the new CEO. He's a bloody good guy. I know him.
Dear friend of yours?
Yeah, dear friend. He used to be chairman
Did you say that about the last boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm well connected.
Warred with him. This is basically a war constantly for years.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, Scott Wienick, he came to the Matt and Jerry show live.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
I saw him afterwards.
New Zealander.
Yeah,
Huge.
there you go.
Huge omen.
Yeah, so there you go. He came along to that. But he's been announced as CEO. He's former chairman of the Players Association, a very successful businessman, and a real good dude. Played first-class cricket for Wellington. as well. Had a double blues. You know when you go to Cambridge, and if you go to Cambridge University, you get your blue if you play for the...
Oh, I thought you were saying Cambridge Waikato.
No, in England. And he got his blues in rugby and cricket. So
Wow.
He's an accomplished sportsman. And the BYC podcast had him for an interview to discuss his new appointment. Here's a quick clip of that.
Let's get down to some of the big issues that are going on in the cricketing world at the moment. How can New Zealand cricket compete with the big bucks and short tour times of franchise cricket? There you go.
Yeah. Well, look, I think one of the strengths that New Zealand cricket has had recently is being flexible around its contracting. So recognising that players need to be given the opportunity to make as much money as they can during what are short careers, while still trying to enable them to play for cricket for New Zealand for as long and as often as possible. So, look, the franchise cricket, if we try and use it to our advantage, this is when I say New Zealand cricket, hopefully we're going to be in a position where our players are playing in franchise cricket, but it's not impacting on their availability for New Zealand cricket.
So go and subscribe to the BYC podcast and listen to that. And real cricket nerdery going on that podcast, but it's a goodie if you want to go balls deep in cricket nerd chat.
Just to confirm, how are we saying that last name? Weenick?
Weenick. Scott Weenick.
Scott Weenick.
Yep, great New Zealander. Congratulations to Scotty Weenick. A US Open in the tennis has started. Apparently the smell of marijuana has been wafting across the notorious US Open court, described as like Snoop Dogg's living room.
It's not a bad metaphor.
No.
But apparently there's a park right next to where they're playing, so there's people, it's not the people in the crowd, it's people over at the park having hacking a bit of sack, I would imagine.
How much weed are you smoking to send a cloud from a local park into a sports stadium? That must be a shitload of weed.
Oh, 100%.
And they're still playing? They're not so precious that they can't handle it?
No, well, this is the thing. So they've all mentioned it, and some of them have complained about it in their sort of like backhanded way that they do. But you're so right. Like, you've got to be dead silent when they're playing. You cannot emit any odours. There will be nothing visual. They need to play in the vacuum of space, these tennis players, to be happy.
No one can be having a good time in a park nearby.
No.
Is that where squash came from? That tennis players were just so fed up with outside influences that they're like, fuck it, box, soundproof, roof. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to see anything. I certainly don't want to smell anything. Lock me away.
Manaia, how naive. Squash clubs aren't real. They're swingers clubs. You know that, don't you?
I always wondered that.
It's an elaborate setup for swinging.
So
everyone knows that.
Is that what the world champs are now for squash? They're always set up in the most beautiful locations, like overlooking the pyramids. It's because no one's they're all just banging in the crowd.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's right.
Just some people heading around, and then you head out the back into the showers and get it done.
I was thinking, if you were playing in this US Open at the moment, looking at you, Nick Kyrgios, and people complaining of the smell and the secondhand stone that you get like walking into a concert in Rotorua, why not just blaze up in between matches? And if you get pinged for it, then just be like, well, it must have been all of the smoke that was wafting across the...
that's true.
Must have been wafting across the court.
Yeah, I was passive smoking.
Yeah.
It was passive weed smoking.
Secondhand smoke. I'm a victim here. And actually, I'll be suing you, US Open.
Hey, but speaking of, how you have to be silent and you can't have any fun inside a tennis arena, whatever.
God, no.
What would be the best noise to put someone off just before they're about to serve, do you reckon? Like, you said a bodily function. I reckon if you ripped ass, like, because people wouldn't be able to stop laughing as well. If you ripped, if someone just went up for the serve and you went, the whole crowd would just, like, it would be one of the greats. And you couldn't pinpoint anyone as well.
No.
If someone shouts out, goes, there! You can spot them.
Yeah.
And it'll pin you out. But if you just rip ass right at the top of the serve.
Well, I've told you the story about how I was at the Heineken Open with a well-known broadcaster who decided to test the limits of being quiet.
Didn't work.
That was shocking.
Didn't go well. Hey, if you want to sit around the water cooler at work, or standing. If you're sitting around the water cooler, that'd be weird. Here's some...
Don't sit around the water cooler.
No, that's super weird. Just a little bit of some facts around the US Open if you want to impress your colleagues. It's the richest tournament on the circuit, the richest Grand Slam, with a prize pool of $65 million. So that's about $7 million more than Wimbledon. The prize money equal for the men's and women's. Winner gets $3 million. The runner-up gets 1.5 million, and it goes down from there. And some other little knowledge bombs here. The 2002 US Open, it generated $472 million US dollars in revenue. Jesus. Almost $500 million in revenue last year.
Wow.
And that compares to 10 years ago, it raised $223 million. So that's a 112% increase.
Wow.
So it's gone through, and it is responsible for 90% of the US Tennis Association's annual revenue, and it comes from that 2-week tournament at Flushing Meadows.
Jesus.
It's insane, eh?
Yeah.
And they have over 770,000 people watch over the 2 weeks. They come to the event to watch live.
Yeah.
It is insane. It's an insane amount.
And I feel like the merch as well. The merch lines, was it at Wimbledon where the merch lines were just out of control? No, it was the Masters and the golf. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. What's
What's the most moneyed sport in the world? Is it golf now?
Oh yeah, would be yeah. Well, thanks to Liv.
Liv would be skewing the numbers a little bit.
Yeah,
I guess across all the NFL teams, all of of sports with lots and lots of franchises. If you add up all the value of the franchises, it'd be something. I guess it's FIFA, isn't it?
I think NFL is still massive, but I don't feel like tennis has gotten that much more popular as a sport. Well, obviously has.
Yeah, I think the Saudis are sniffing around tennis.
Yeah, right.
They're sniffing around.
Are they?
Yeah, they're sniffing around. Don't worry about that. But I think you're right, Matt. I think in terms of global, if you looked at global cash, FIFA and football is probably the one that's got the most amount of cash flowing around into the wrong people's pockets mainly, but cash nonetheless.
Because there's no countries that don't play tennis at all. I mean, to some level, I guess why tennis and golf are big, aren't they? Because as sports, they're very in football, they're very global,
accessible.
Yeah, but there ain't not a lot of countries playing American football.
No. AFL, kabaddi.
Right, here's a bit of a tease for you. We have got the Behind the Absolute Scenes Season 2 is out today at 4 p.m, Episode 1 of this. Here's a little teaser.
We're going to win the World Cup.
I was emotionally exhausted.
It was one of the worst days of my life.
There might have been some tears.
People saw the ACC as a threat and they wanted to kill us.
I don't even know if I want to go there, but this is a warts and all documentary, so we have to tell the truth.
Where's the cocaine? Where's the nudity?
Sex pest is a word that was thrown around.
I was actually pleasuring myself.
I knew there was a penis involved and Laura McGoldrick.
Absolute scenes. Absolute scenes. So that's I'm not actually I'm not sure if that episode should actually air, Matt Heath. You were involved in it where we discussed the after party at the Cricket World Cup and what happened to Laura McGoldrick. And I was thinking about that. Remember I pashed the Jav? And the furor that's happened post Women's FIFA World Cup around the unconsenting kiss. The kiss that I landed on Grant Elliott was probably the most unconsensual thing I've ever done. And I'm just waiting for an email to pop up into my inbox from Grant Elliott's The Hairy Javs lawyer, just asking questions on that, because there's photographic evidence and video evidence actually that Jeremy Wells has. So maybe I should go visit him and destroy that evidence.
Well, do you think your mum Sue Lane would go on a hunger strike for you if you do get in trouble with this?
Lock herself inside a church in Hamilton.
Let's just say Sue Lane would disown me in a heartbeat. She would not commit to a hunger strike. She would probably do the opposite.
It's a hunger strike without end as well, that bloke's mum, because she's just like, until they stop hounding him. Like, until what, all the Twitter accounts have been pulled down? Or like, where's the finish line in your mind? I don't think this is going to end well for her.
I think she just wants to go.
I
think she's ready to go.
I also wonder if, based on the story that you've just told me, what is his name? Luis Rubiales?
Yeah, Rubiales. Yeah.
Was he potentially embroiled in a wristwatch incident after the World Cup? Who knows? But that would be the only reason I could see why this is blown out of proportion so massively.
Yeah, so there you go. Behind the Absolute Scenes. Check it out at 4 p.m. today. Episode 1. There's another 6 episodes. This one covers off the Cricket World Cup semi-final, the famous semi-final, the Hairy Jav moment, and the goings-on at the actual final. And I'm shameful behaviour that happened at the after party, which wasn't really a party; it was more of a wake.
And something you hadn't really been invited to?
No.
Does Scott Winnick know about this situation?
I don't think Scott knows about this, but he will in about 4 hours' time when it gets released. But check it out. It'll be across all of the ACC socials and on YouTube as well. Hey, another initiative, we've partnered up with the Great New Zealand Tee-Off, which is basically it's a charity golf day where over 200 clubs have donated two tee times on November the 24th, all around the country. I think it's at 1:15 p.m. and 1:25 p.m. So over 200 courses around the country have donated those times. And the idea is you all tee off at the same time, get some mates together, 2 4-balls, and you tee off at the same time. You can go online and bid on those, and all the money goes towards Movember, the Catwalk Trust, and a couple of others as well. All you need to do is text T to 3236. That's TEE to 3236. There's some amazing golf courses on there that you can bid on, from Te Arai Links, Wairaki, Jack's Point. There's some amazing courses, but there's also some amazing rural courses on there as well. Great excuse. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
Great excuse to get your mates together and go for a roadie and play golf somewhere different. All goes to a good cause. The Great New Zealand Tee-Off. They go online tomorrow, 1st of September. They're all live, so check that out and get into it.
The funniest part about that for me is that, great initiative, incredible day. The first shot is by far the worst shot. You always shank your first tee shot, so it's going to be at 1:15 all around the country. Blokes are going to slice balls deep into the forests around them in the name of charity.
It's a good idea. I mean, it's a great idea.
There'll be major deforestation across the country. The actual it'll affect the climate.
Imagine how many collectives being set at 1:15. There'll be a lot. But hey, look, even if you aren't successful on any of the bids on that. Off from the 1st of September. It's not stopping you going and booking at your local club and just teeing off at 1:15 on Friday, November 24th as well.
Wait, are you giving me the day off on that day? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Worth a shot.
We should do that. We should bid on some and have a go,
100%.
though. Right on. Okay, let's move into it. Wide on of the week on the Sporting Week. Manaia Stewart, what gave you a wide on in the last 7 days?
Massive wide on. I'm still on the way down from it. Because I commentate so many of the Warriors games this season, I haven't had the opportunity to go to one. So on Friday night, I was lucky enough to head along to watch a Warriors game. And the game itself was a little bit boring, but to be there and feel the excitement, multiple Mexican waves. I don't know if the Mexican part of that's been cancelled in 2023 or not, but multiple waves.
Yeah, waves. Crowd waves.
Crowd waves. And I think I said on the Daily Agenda podcast earlier this week that there's a rule in the NRL where no finals game shall be played anywhere with a capacity fewer than 25,000.
Yep.
So on the board where they put up the capacity, 25,009 people in attendance this week at Mount Smart Stadium. So good.
Yeah, right.
That was my wide on of the week, was just being there. An otherwise boring game, but just the crowd.
I wonder if they do, just thinking of the crowd numbers and how they... I'm just trying to think of the legitimacy of that and if they actually have to prove that, because when I worked for FIFA and we would do crowd attendances, we'd look around. I'd be in the Joint Operations Centre and we go, we have to put an attendance up because FIFA make you put an attendance up at just after halftime starts, second half starts. And we'd go, 17,000?
Yeah.
Okay, no, you got to make it okay, 17,322. They're like, okay, so the guy on the screen just puts it up and that was it. No one ever questioned it.
No, you say that. Somebody did a deep dive earlier this year into attendance at Eden Park because a severe amount of overwhelming number of their attendances ended in the number 8, and they were like, what are the odds of that? And then they had to admit, well, yeah, we do eyeball it a little bit. So it's it's probably this. And so obviously whoever's having to eyeball at 8's just stuck in their brain.
Yeah, right.
And so they chuck that on the end. It's like, why every week does it end in 8? Just statistically, it shouldn't work.
Well, that's why I can sympathise with that person, because when I was younger and used to do heaps of prank phone calls just to amuse myself with my mates, I always used to use the name Wayne Smith. For some reason. I don't know, as a fake name. That was always stuck in my head. And it was,
A couple of guys around Waimate, everyone used their names.
Right.
I won't use them here or people start doing it again. But Yeah,
well, like when you get pulled over by the cops, or you get in trouble with the cops when you're a teenager, and you have to make up a name. I've done it before. You go, John.
Johnson.
John. Your name's John Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Johnson.
Sure.
And who are you? Glenn's. Okay, mate. Okay, you two.
Coming with me.
Hyphen Smith.
Okay, John Johnson and Glenn Lenz. We're getting out of here.
What gave you a wide on, Matt Heath, in the last 7 days in the sporting world?
Well, I'll do a brief one and a really boring one that you guys will hate. But I was down in Queenstown and I was at a sports bar that was absolutely rammed for the Wars, just with some feral greenkeepers.
Yeah.
But just it's taken over the entire nation. So, back in the day, the South Island didn't pack out bars for Warriors games.
Oh, no.
But you're in Queenstown, hoi polloi Queenstown, fancy ass sports bar. Oh, actually, the one that you and me did that quiz at.
That's a great sports bar, that one.
Yeah, great sports bar, but absolutely rammed with rabid Wars fans. So it just felt different than it ever has before, and that was great. It was a very uniting moment, and it was great because there was, I talked to some Canadian tourists, and they go, "So this is the team, you guys, everyone's so passionate about it." And I was like, "Yeah, all these people have always been into this thing. Always, it's always been that." And the boring part of it is, no one's won 23 games in a month for 6 years, except for the Dodgers just did it. And Mookie Betts hit his 36th home run. So the Dodgers, everyone wrote them off at the start of the season. Now they're having an absolute blinder. They're going to win over 100 games this year when they're written off. Injuries everywhere. Didn't trade anyone good. Lost some key players. And they just keep going.
I can see your hard on from here. That's not a wide on. That's a hard on of the week.
Mookie Betts. Very sexy man.
Going back to the Warriors game, I watched the Warriors from the Bullock Bar in Wanaka, which is going to be our base actually for the Jossie Wells Invitational coming up in a couple of weeks, which we've ludicrously been invited back for.
Can't believe that happened.
I know, neither.
What am I going to do? I can't even ski.
Yeah, well, they don't seem to care about that. That's the people they need to target. They don't need to target.
Just big ear Manukars down there commentating.
Big ear Manukars coming at you with a screaming seaman double backflip flaccid. So we watch it, not quite the buzz that you were talking about, Matt, in Queenstown, because we went in there for the first half. We said, "Are you putting the Warriors on?" They said, "Yeah." Screens everywhere, by the way, at the Bullock Bar. Screens everywhere. It's got a TAB in the back. In all essence, it's a sports bar. Went in there and started, and they didn't have the commentary on, so we said, "Could we get the commentary?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." But at 8:30, kickoff was at 8. At 8:30, the entertainment's starting. And there was some 70-year-old dude playing distorted guitar, AC/DC on the stage doing a sound check. We're like, "Are you serious? Can you not wait until the Warriors are over?" They're like, "Nah, 8:30, it's starting." And sure enough, they put the commentary on for us, but only on a single TV, not on the PA system, so we couldn't actually hear it. And then at 8:30, it's known as Bullock Bar Idol. Bully Idol started. Yeah. And I did meet some great New Zealanders down there. And we're there for the final, which is on the 16th, Friday the 16th of September.
Right.
Or that was 15th. Anyway, and this is karaoke that's quite different because they've got a guitarist that accompanies you as well while you're singing.
Yeah,
and so we had to watch the Warriors in silence but at the same time have Bully Idol going at the same time. And
were they any good?
Some of them were, but it felt like the karaoke team that were there felt like some sort of Carney Roadshow, because they would sing as well, but they would run the operations, but they would sing too, and then they'd go around and encourage people to get up. It was very odd.
We had a situation like this on K Road on a Tuesday night about 3 or 4 weeks ago, where Ms. Britton, who works out in the office at Hodaki, she was the people, obviously the regulars that do their karaoke, did such an awful job. She tried to take the microphone off this guy, but he carried on singing, but just started talking shit to her the whole way through the song. So he'd just be singing like, "And through it, oh fuck you, bitch, you want to run this song too? She offers me protection." You couldn't sing it better if you fucking tried. It was excellent. I've never seen anything like it. I'm hoping for the same at the Bully Bar.
Oh, yep. So the Bully. Jossie Wells Invitational, by the way, brought to you by Export Ultra. We're going to be down there commentating the Big Air. We'll also be doing a few merch drops around to flats and stuff, so keep your eyes out there. And we've got some specials at the Bully Bar, 2-for-1 specials, opening party, closing party. She's going to be pretty loose. Attendance required this week is only one thing. It's the Wars v Dolphins Saturday 5 p.m. on Sky Sport 9. It's brought to you by 4 and 20 Pies. That'll be Keezy and Di bringing you the last kind of round robin game before the finals kick off. The TAB good punt this week. I've gone for a bit of cricky because it's been a while since a bit of cricky. Game 2. I'll put it on Conway top score, paying $3.40. He's a top-class batsman, Conway. I expect him to stand up in the second game. It's 5 a.m. on Saturday, so I've chucked the hundy on that, paying $3.40. Not bad odds for someone of his class.
Yep.
So
the kitty has not shifted since you left either.
Yeah, well, I did notice that actually.
We haven't made a
since my victory last time. I don't know what I put it on, but I can't remember.
We've been, when I say I've been swinging for the fences on every bet available to me. I feel like we've got nothing to lose, you know. We're putting bonus bets on. I want to fill the kitty one fell swoop.
I like to think that I'm giving people a decent chance at winning some money. So that's why I do that. That's why mine aren't swinging for the fences.
Don't follow me in on any of these bets, but I'm just trying to fill the kitty and pay the good people.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Righto. Now it's time for...
Toppa Plays of the Week. Brought to you by Leader NZ's Lasagna Toppa.
Coming in at number 3, he's our favourite cricketer of all time. It's Rakeem the Dream Cornwall, who's playing in the CPL. And this man knows how to hit sixes. Holy Jesus, isn't this?
No, there's no getting that back. Hitting with spin, hitting with the wind, hitting it into the car park. And I hope none of your guys' car is parked out there.
Rakeem Cornwall, I saw him get run out. He tried to take a quick single to a deep gully area and he got run out by about 10 metres. But man, they stay hit. Don't bowl short to Rakeem Cornwall.
Nah, and I love the CPL over there as well, the carnival atmosphere, the commentators, and the things that they put up on the screen when someone hits a six, and there'll be a thing that flashes up on the screen that says something like, licks! Or big montings just come up on the screen. It's excellent. But that reminded me of that commentary of when, remember when Ian Smith's car got hit by a six?
Yes, I do.
Someone hit it out of the park and he goes, that's my bloody car. That's my car out there.
It was his rental. He wouldn't have cared about that. Nah, he wouldn't. But the CPL, also, if you watch it, if you be bothered watching it, they do a competition at half-time where they get a crowd member, the best supporter, and they win a barrel of rum.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's on like a trolley, and they wheel it back, and this person just walks off the field, waving to the crowd with a barrel of rum.
Oh, that's excellent.
That's a life-changing / ruining amount of rum.
Totally, it's so good.
I mean, does anything good happen after
rum?
Rum, if you get rum is a very interesting steam.
Yeah,
there's a lot of energy and a lot of confusion involved.
There's a reason pirates drunk it is because they were away from their families on a boat in an international body of water. So there was, they removed the issues, the incidents that could happen.
It goes rum, then sodomy, then lash. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Okay, number 2 on the top of plays of the week. I don't know if you caught this. It was a football game. A guy was carrying... Have you seen the pyramid cups? Have you seen the new cups they've got in a lot of the stadiums where you can stack them? So they've got handles on them. So they're basically like a plastic cup, but they've got a jug handle, but it doesn't go all the way around. And you can basically stack 2 or 3 on each one, so you can walk back to your seat with 6 beers. Not that in New Zealand you'd ever get served 6 beers because it's like one each. But this guy,
anyone to have a good time.
This guy's carrying them on his head.
Yeah,
he's got how many beers is it? He's got like about 8 beers, and he's balanced it on the top of his head, and he's walking through the crowd at a football match.
So are they interlocked somehow? I've got the video here in front of me. Oh, yeah, they got the handle. So 1, 2, 3, then 3, then another 4. I can't do the quick math. That's 10. He's got 10 beers on his head.
So he starts with 1. He's got 1 on his head, then 2, then 3, then 4.
5 litres, 5 kilos of beer on top of his head. But he's not touching it.
I'm trying to get those beer cups into New Zealand.
Nice.
Sponsor them with ACC. And because there's a few issues with beer in New Zealand at summer events. One, you're holding your cup, so it immediately becomes warm.
Yep.
This isolates your hand from the cup.
Because you're stacking 10 of them on your head.
Correct. Plus you can stack up shitloads of them. Even if you just have them at home for the spa pool.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a no glass policy in your spa pool, Matt Heath.
I do now, yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be very handy for that. But yeah, what a legend. But the number 1 Toppa plays of the week is the college football all Name team for 2023.
Here is college football's all-name team for the 2023 season, starting off with quarterback General Booty. At running back, we have Cavassier Smoke. At wide receiver, we have DeColdis Crawford and DeRealis Clark. Our offensive line features Parker Titsworth, Octavius Oxendide, Shida Silla. The defensive backs feature Mobility, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Storm Duck, Major Burns, and lastly, Dude Person.
So these are
actual names.
Real names. Dude Person.
What do you mean these are real names?
These are actual names of people in college football this season. One of my favorites is DeColdis Crawford. His middle name is To Ever Do It. So his name is DeColdis To Ever Do It Crawford. There's a guy in there literally called Kool-Aid McKinstry. Dude Person.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, the top comment.
Dude Person is the best name
The top
I've ever heard for anything ever.
The top comment is, every time Dude Person goes into a bar, the security guard must take his ID off him.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way your
It's
name...
McLovin. It's McLovin.
Yeah, there's no way in hell your name is Dude Person.
And was there someone Tits McGee or something? In the
Something
middle of
like that, yeah. There's a guy in there, his name was Shitter Silla.
Oh, shit, the beard. Okay, hey,
so good.
It's Father's Day coming up this Sunday. Don't forget.
What day is it?
Father's Day. Done Sunday. Speaking of which, we're at the ACC shop. We've got 50% off.
Oh, that's hard.
50% off all hats and T-shirts. Use the code Sunday when you check out. Well, Father's Day, Sunday. Use Sunday as the code word when you check out. So it's 50% off, limited time only, only lasts till Sunday. So get onto it, text shop to 3236 to get the link to that. Otherwise, that's us done. We'll see you tomorrow for the daily.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.